Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And going into Modern Warfare 2, the Gentleman's Agreement list is already starting to take shape. Dashy believing that the ledge mantle mechanic, which was present in the beta that Cellium may well take advantage of, should 100% be Gentleman's Agreemented and not employed when the professional play comes around very shortly indeed. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to dive into today. First of all, I wanted to mention this real quick here from Slasher and also Methods, as he says, only one more month until Modern Warfare 2. So yes, the 28th of October, I believe about 4 weeks or so pretty much, is when Modern Warfare 2 finally does arrive. One of the big questions is really how much will actually change from the beta to the real game. I think many say that the bones of the game, that the base mechanics are actually rather solid. There's just a few things. Dead silence, the minimap of course would be ideal, like footstep audio of course we just mentioned, things like that that need to be adjusted if this game wants to be successful from a competitive perspective. And there's some optimism about the maps and stuff like that, but look, I'm sure Slasher is going to be optimistic regardless, playing with Simp, aBeZy and Cellium and getting this opportunity. Kind of rare really that a guy like Slasher, or at least a player that's in, you'd imagine the twilight of his career to some degree, like Slasher's 28 now, like especially compared to Formal and Karma and, Scump is he still 26 or is he 27 now? I think Scump's maybe 27 now. I think Krim was 29. Clay is 30 going into the new season, right? So Slasher's getting there, and now this is like he's getting the opportunity of his career right now, which is kind of impressive really, because a lot of other players at this age have fallen off massively. But look, we'll see what works for him. Of course, it is legacy building, but also potentially legacy breaking, depending on how this year's run with FaZe goes. And Methods is like, look, I still can't believe you got this opportunity. But Slasher, of course, known as the Gentleman's Agreement arbiter from a few years ago. I know that nowadays he doesn't really get involved so much in what the pros decide to ban, but we know full well, based on the way the casual game plays and the differences that they're going to have with the competitive side, they're going to have to be some significant changes here to the state of the game and to what weapons and stuff are allowed, and also attachments and all the like, if this game is actually going to play well for competitive. So the GA list will need to be significant, and Slasher may well want to get involved, even though he may not want to, because his team are rather good. And we saw that with Snaking actually a while ago. That was a discussion right at the start of the beta. These, of course, some of the beta maps: Mikado, Farm, Museum, and the hotel map. Now, what do you guys think was the most promising? I do think a couple of these, they might be able to find a way to make them viable. The thing for me that I really hope actually works is this map editor. Now, we don't know when the map editor is arriving, but hopefully it arrives by year 2 of the cycle, because there's a rumor a while ago, and I think Valve even followed up on this and effectively said the following, that there will be a map editor in this game. So Valve says, yes, it's going to be a top 5 COD Modern Warfare 2, and he reckons that we should be expecting a map editor relatively soon. Now, it's not going to be a full-scale editor like what they have, let's say, in, the Forge in Halo, right, where you can literally build maps from the ground up. But you can change and edit the maps, apparently, when this arrives. So this is what he described here in this article, right, that you have the necessary tools, apparently, in this editor system to edit an already existing map, to effectively alter the gameplay experience. So what you can do is, you can customize spawn points, customize objective locations, and put certain restrictions, with the addition of completely changing the scenery of a level and its individual properties, such as crates and containers. Alter maps will be closely regulated, stuff like this. So it's possible that players can actually go in, or any of us could go in, if this is actually approved and actually arrives in the title, and then change certain elements of the map. So my perspective is that certain maps, like often, let's say the bomb sites are in a bad location, you can move them around. Let's say for a hardpoint situation, there's a certain spawn that's really annoying teams and doesn't seem to work so well, you can just remove that spawn. Now, you can't necessarily change the spawn logic, which I think is kind of the key thing here. You can change necessarily where players spawn, but I guess the logic is still going to be the same, and it's still going to be that squad spawn mechanic. But you might be able to change the spawns that actually fits that a bit better, the objective, stuff like this, but also the fact that you can change around elements of the map, crates and containers, the core models on the map are probably going to stay the same. But also, to me, some of these maps are rather too big. Like Museum, for example, seems a bit too big to me. I think that, especially for 4 versus 4 action, for hardpoint and for search, I think it could do with being a bit smaller. We saw that, for example, with Arclov Peak. I think Arclov Peak might have even been viable for other game modes back in Modern Warfare 2019 if it had just been a bit smaller. And if there was a map editor back then to literally cut parts of the map off, which you'd imagine if you can move crates and containers around, you should also be able to just reduce, cut certain elements of the map off and just reduce the size of it. That might also be a beneficial factor. So the issue is, this isn't probably going to be there at launch. It's probably not going to be able to affect the first few months of competitive, but I think it's a good thing nonetheless that is at least on the horizon, that we might actually be able to change some of these maps for the better down the the line. Now let's talk about some of the OpTic perspective on this, right? I thought it was kind of crazy actually that Formal's record at Orlando, or whatever event he's attended in Orlando, whether it be Halo back in the day or in Call of Duty, even at the World Championship, or back in the, I'm guessing this is the Advanced Warfare days, or also most recently in the HCS Orlando event where he won as well. 5 times he's attended Orlando for professional LAN and 5 times he's won. So that is indeed, of course, a rather remarkable record. But let's talk about the state of Modern Warfare 2. So as aBeZy goes after Vanguard, thank God I have to never play this game again. Literally the worst game I've ever played. So fantastic stuff. Now, will they be saying the same thing after Modern Warfare 2? Who knows? But some of the mechanics are obviously not optimally designed, at least from a competitive perspective. So this is what Dashy has to say on the OpTic podcast that came out last night, talking about the issue with the ledge climbing and just the climbing mechanics in general. He was like, look, you climb up on this ledge, or like whenever you climb in general, it doesn't really seem to work as effectively as you'd like it to. You kind of get stuck there for some reason. But also the ledge hang mechanic, which is definitely in this game and not viable all across the map all the time. But there are certain situations where ledge hanging off certain situations gives you a free head glitch, especially because the pistol, which is the only thing you can hold when you do this, is so incredibly strong in the game as it stands. So Dashy is pretty clear on his perspective here. They're like, look, this climbing stuff is not where it needs to be. The ledge hang is just ridiculous. Cellium will be abusing it out of control, and it needs to get gentleman's agreement in.
At least Vanguard gave us Ninja last second. And it was completely deady, to be honest.
Last year?
Yeah, Vanguard was really deady though. Like it was scary deady. Like, oh yeah, you want deady? We'll give you deady.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want.
But I like that though.
Silent.
I'd rather completely silent than.
Or let me hear this.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Some pitter patter.
That's how Black Ops 4. And if you were really like close to somebody in Black Ops 4, you would hear them.
Yeah.
Same thing MW2. Like MW2, if you ran in a bush, it would make sound.
Right.
Shit like that.
So you have to whenever you're trying to clutch 1v3, you have to run around the bushes.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Run around the bush. Don't climb if you know they're near you, because they'll hear the climb.
It makes like a.
Right.
I'm saying like in MW2, I still remember the sound. Like it was like a.
See, but all that kind of also creates like. You could fake climb, like
it's like meta, because now it's like
you can't fake a footstep.
What do we think about the mantle stuff? Like obviously we didn't talk about like you'd climb and then that's it, and then you peek and then you can shoot.
Yeah.
But then like
what is bro? Like,
why, right?
Bro, I hopped on the beta. I hopped on like I was trying to parkour. I was trying to hop on like top of like a second story roof, and my guy just sat there like Spider-Man. I was like, bro, like climb. Like
you gotta press it twice.
Yeah, I was like, what is this, bro?
Like, how many inputs do they want us to put?
I'm like, Chad, how do I change a setting, bro?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's bad too. Again,
there's
it's
so
a beta.
many settings, bro.
Oh, that's not going anywhere though. That's a core
the
mechanic.
The climb?
Not going anywhere.
Wait, tell me, and my chat's like, yo, yeah, you gotta go to setting, you gotta go partial off. I'm like, partial off. Like,
yeah,
what are you guys talking about?
I don't want to do
like,
that.
What is this Mortal Kombat? Like, and I'm like, yo, it's like,
yeah, the thing there is like they should give that as an option for those who want to go and do that.
Yeah, like
right?
that should be that's a new feature that has to be like
optional.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
it's not the way things are. Yeah,
but it's just like you remember when they in Modern Warfare and then again in Vanguard when they added like when you're on a ladder and you could shoot while you're on the ladder. That's what they're doing, but you can just do it on any ledge.
Yeah,
any ledge.
Any ledge you can shoot off of it.
I will say this.
Dude, imagine Cellium this year. He's gonna be.
Guy's gonna be like on like behind this desk, like one hand, like just like I'm like, wait, what, bro? Like we gotta GA that, no? Like,
yeah,
this is kind of the specific thing, of course, that Dashy's talking about here. We looked at this a couple of times now from right at the start of the beta, when, for example, on this particular ledge, you can just hang on it and aim over it, and this is a perfect example of abusing it to the maximum. Now, Cellium, I'm sure, would be all over this if it was allowed to be used, and look, it seems pretty strong to me, especially if you can do this on many different locations, just to create yourself a free head glitch, which isn't really intended to be there by the game design. It's not going to be great. Like, you're going to have people doing this all the time, especially because you can kind of snake it, right? If you were just constantly there and it was kind of a new head glitch with a pistol, it might not be the end of the world. The fact that you can snake it and like jump up and down here to get free information and never actually be killed, like there's no way you're going to die in this particular position, right? You can just easily hop down, take the free information and run away. Like, it seems to me this is rather too strong. So I think Dashy has a point. Now, the issue is, how exactly do you get rid of this? Is there going to be a setting in the game, or is it going to be GA'd, as in the pros are going to tell themselves like you're not allowed to do this? Because of course we saw last year, for example, the ladders. If you climbed up one of those ladders on the boat on MW2, you could then use your pistol in kind of a similar way to this, and Cellium used to use that to good effect. Now, of course, you can't really gentleman's agreement that, because it's just a ladder as part of the map, and you know, of course, sometimes maybe these mechanics happen by accident. I don't know, you try and mantle on something and all of a sudden you accidentally ledge hang on it. I don't really know, but still, it's something interesting to consider. The ideal, probably in Dashy Dashy's mind is there's a setting in the game where you can simply turn off the ledge hang, which probably doesn't exist as it stands, but it may well exist, who knows, because in previous games there was opportunities to turn off mounting and stuff like that, so maybe there's a chance they do this. But yeah, definitely the Gentleman's Agreement enforcers are going to be out in force this game, because we even saw recently the smoke airdrop, that field upgrade that just brings an absolute barrage of smoke all across the map. Like, that's probably not going to survive because it seems way too strong, like for search and destroy or something, when you can just block off an entire half of the map effectively, and you don't even need any skill to like throw the smoke grenade in a perfect spot. So that smoke airdrop may well be gone as well. There also was, of course, some talk a few days ago about the sniping in this game, because look, back in Cold War, of course, the sniping was gone. The pros decided it was too strong. In Vanguard, it came back after the complaint to the community, and I'm sure people want to see snipers once again in action here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. But are they going to be too strong? Are they going to be, well, too viable effectively? That remains to be seen. Scump said a few days ago he reckons the sniper's kind of like a railgun, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be Gentleman's Agreement again effectively. So we'll see what they come up with, what they decide to do, because of course, like, the pros are going to give their perspective here. I think they've even admitted at this point, because I think a few years ago there was some optimism within the scene. They're like, look, let's try and make the casual and the competitive scene as close as it possibly can be. I think that was the intention really with Ban and Protect back in when it came into Black Ops 3. It was a nice idea by Treyarch, really. I mean, their perception was like, look, if we just don't ban anything and have the rule set exactly as it is, then at least Ban and Protect will enable casual and competitive to be the same, but competitive, you kind of use the Ban and Protect feature as well. The issue with that, of course, is that things like UAVs and the like just have to be banned anyway, because otherwise they're just going to get banned every Ban and Protect, and there's no point sitting there waiting for 5 minutes, which is effectively what happened anyway with rapid fire, high caliber, these other things here. The Shiva would often get banned, stuff like this. But you know, still, I think it was a nice idea on paper. But nowadays, I think that a lot of pros have accepted, like, look, there's no point wasting our time trying to make the game aligned between casual and competitive. Let's just do the best we possibly can for competitive. Whether they always do that though, because of course, you know, the fans don't decide, the pros generally decide, like, that is another question. So regardless of what happens, I do kind of agree that that ledge hang mechanic might well need to be considered to be gone. But that's the thing, will the teams agree to it? Because for teams to agree to a Gentleman's Agreement to happen, if they are going to say, look, you're not allowed to do this ledge hang mechanic, like, who's going to agree? Is Slasher going to agree, given the fact that he's got Cellium on his team and he's got the other FaZe guys that maybe could abuse this mechanic more than other teams? Who knows? Maybe he'll kind of rally against the GA, maybe like he wouldn't usually do back in the day. And he's kind of implied the same thing as well for stuff like snaking. We saw recently that the snaking mechanic in this game, crouching just about going prone, standing up again behind cover, is really strong in this game and difficult to actually see someone when they do it. Like, that is something which we like to have Gentleman's Agreement in the snaking. The Slasher has also said, yeah, let's just allow it this year, maybe, because I've got the teammates to take advantage of it. So that's always the thing with GA, is that teams are generally going to say what is in their best interest, even if it's not maybe in the best interest of the competitive nature of the game. So definitely tweet your thoughts and all that one in the comment section below. And just because earlier today we talked about the fact that usually to win the World Championship, you need a previous World Championship winner on your team. This is also a rather interesting statistic, that 7 out of the 10 champs winners placed top 2 at the previous tournament. Like, for 5 years in a row, that was the case up until Evil Geniuses won in 2018. Then it was straight back to the case with E United. They went back to back. Dallas Empire came 4th in the events before they won the World Championship in Modern Warfare. FaZe, of course, had a difficult run at Major 5, but once again at Los Angeles Thieves, they went back to back. So a very good indicator of success of the World Championship is success at the event prior. Makes sense, of course, but even in a game like Vanguard, that was most certainly the case. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button and tell us the YouTube gods it's a good video, and I was like, you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.